I have an incredible guest that I've known for many years, absolutely amazing, and he helps all the young ladies and the young men and the old ladies and the old men. He helps everybody in kind of their predicaments, and mostly in the marriage situation. I have Regi Rodgers with me. Regi, how are you?
Ninon, I'm great. How about you?
You're looking amazing. You look absolutely, you haven't changed. I haven't seen you in a couple of years.
Nor have you. In fact, I don't know. Whatever recipe you're using, I need to borrow that
I'm
from you.
eating at this restaurant, that's why. I'm eating all the good food, that's why.
Great recipe.
Great recipe.
Yes, it is.
Now, you are in, I kind of call it the marriage counseling is one of your main things you kind of do. What has been the difference? Because there's been this big sort of upheaval of the COVID-19.
Yeah.
And there's kind of, you know, a lot of people are at home, which is very convenient, maybe for the men and the women, because I think it works both ways now. What's going on with getting married, not getting married, divorces? This has been hectic.
So I think the pandemic taught us a lot of lessons, and particularly couples. They learned if they had a problem, they learned if they had a partner, and so they began to look at their situation from a standpoint of taking an honest retrospect and beginning to evaluate if it was a problem or if it was a partner. Most people wanted a partner, but they discovered they had a problem.
In the door, out of the door.
Right.
So,
but in passing, before the pandemic, what happened is they were always in passing.
Yes,
so
because they were going to
they
jobs.
They didn't have to spend an enormous amount of time with and around each other.
Which they wanted to do when they were courting. I mean, when most couples meet each other and they're courting and they're dating, they normally want to be with each other 24 hours a day, normally.
Right.
So now this marriage starts and all these things set in. And
so, but the other thing that they discovered too is whether it was a problem or if it was a partner, they also discovered if they had a project.
Now, what do you mean by a project?
You have to put a lot of time into it.
Into the marriage.
You have to try to make it what you want it to be. So it's not a natural, organic flow.
So now it becomes something they never did before.
Right.
So this is something new for them.
Right.
In your, how's it worked out? Divorces, I'm quite sure there's been a few divorces. And staying together is always the greatest thing to do.
Right.
You've fallen in love, you've probably had a child, or maybe you haven't had any children yet, and you kind of thought of, you know, you really, really want it to work. You just don't go in and out of it.
So I think they discovered too there was a crisis. The crisis is the fact that as inflation was going up, everything was getting higher. Gas, rent, everything was starting to escalate in terms of what we were paying. So could they afford to actually leave each other?
Oh, no.
So now they had to stay together.
As a convenience.
So listen, we had this crisis, but we have to stay together. So this project we need to work on so that at least we could get to a place where it's amicable and we work together. So as we're working together, although we may not be
married.
intimate as much as we would like to be, and so the affection
well, they've got more time to
there.
do that now because they're together. But now,
but they're not looking at each other.
It's a two-bedroom house.
Yes, they're not looking at each other the same. So now, instead of now having a partner, we have a roommate.
And did you find this a lot? Did you find?
In the midst of all of this, I was just working with Stephen the other day. I just did a TikTok video. I had a stack that I've married, about a stack of papers of all the marriage licenses that I've married in 2022 was about this high. These are people that I counsel, I marry, and so I had a stack about this high. So people are still getting married.
Together.
So love is still in the atmosphere. Love is still happening.
That's one good. So love is still happening,
is still in
and
the
let
atmosphere.
it prosper even more. Because I always feel that once you've fallen in love and you've got married, you kind of made that commitment to each other to try to keep it together and
But those were the new marriages coming in for 2022, and so one of the questions that came up in the room that we were going through all the stacks was like, I wonder how many of these are going to stay together. We'll find out.
That's true.
We'll
Because
find out.
yeah, but now we have an ease up. Now we don't have the COVID staying home. Now they can actually go back to the life of what they like and whatever they want to do, hopefully. You know, so hopefully it's going to. What has been your hardest cases of doing all this? You've got to have a hard time for yourself, not for them, for you to kind of sit back and go, how do I take care of this one? What do I?
So I put together a curriculum. I've got a new series that's out now, and it's called Dating and Creating.
Okay.
Dating and creating is getting us to an understanding that you can create whatever it is that you want by being intentional.
Okay.
So what happens is I'm teaching and I'm empowering, getting people to understand the 5 stages of dating.
Oh, there's
So
5?
once we understand the 5 stages of dating, we understand the layers, we understand the steps. So therefore, most people meet today and say, we're going to go on a date tonight. That's no. You want to meet somebody.
What do you mean no?
Because the first stage is called meet and greet.
Oh, so these are your 5.
These are my 5 stages.
So
You
your
wanna meet and greet.
first one is meet and greet.
Meet and greet.
Your second one
Dating.
is dating. I didn't know there was all the different. Go ahead. Third one.
And then the third one is dating differences. Because
Dating.
once you start dating, you discover that there are 2 personalities. So there are obviously 2 different opinions.
Yeah.
So we have differences. How do we work through the differences once we begin
But
dating?
isn't that how you choose somebody so that, I mean, both parties choose? Don't think just you choose, both parties choose. But don't you think that is, as of dating, you sort of, well, I like this and I like that and, oh, I don't like that and anybody taking me camping, it's going to be a dead duck. I would never go camping in my entire life. I camp. There's one place I love to camp at, the Ritz-Carlton Hotel. Absolutely love
It's a
it.
great place to camp.
That's what I
Great place,
figure.
I don't blame you.
That's my place.
I don't blame you. It's a great place to
Forget
camp.
all this camping with all these insects and all putting tents up. Not that I can't do it. So you've got to learn each other. Now, I thought that was something that came along as you dated, but you make it a point. What is the reason you make these 5 points? Because you don't see it going right?
Because time is our biggest commodity. And we don't have a lot of time to waste.
I
so
agree.
in order to understand that my next move must be my best move, and if it's not my best move, I can't make it my next move. In stage 1, I'm getting you to go through all these C's. 1, how's the conversation? 2, is there chemistry?
But they can't be phony. You can't pretend. I mean, do some of them pretend that they like what she likes or she likes what he likes?
See, you're going ahead of me. That's why in stage 1, I want you to go through all the C's. Here's the C's. Stage 1, I want you to see if we have a good conversation. So is there a flow?
Well, we do.
You and I always have. Always have.
We always have.
a
Yeah,
flow.
we've always had that.
So,
Great conversation.
Exactly.
Yes,
then I want you to
understand.
see if there's chemistry. But I don't. But I don't build relationships on chemistry, because you can have chemistry with a myriad of people.
Yes.
But you're not going to be connected to everybody.
No.
And so you hear people oftentimes say, "Oh my God, we had so much chemistry," but you don't hear people say, "Oh my God, we were so connected." So I'm not telling you to put a big emphasis on
connected is
chemistry.
better, because everybody wonders. If we had a bottle, we could bottle chemistry.
Absolutely.
Because everybody, oh, I've got this chemistry going, and they get all excited. But then sometimes it kind of disappears.
Because you can ask your friends, how many times have you said you've had chemistry with someone?
Well, I can tell you how many times I've had chemistry. I don't have to ask my girlfriends or anybody.
You don't build it on chemistry. You want to build it on a connection. That's a
Chemistry.
huge difference.
You know something though? But chemistry is something you kind of have right away. It's kind of that connection. You start talking and you start and it sort of gets. Well, I don't know if it does with you, but I guess I'm spitting out beans about myself. And you're sitting there. I'm just observing. He's sitting there. I'm not going to say he's laughing, but yes, definitely observing. I'm finding out what Ninon likes and how she likes.
I'm just being an observant pupil here.
Yeah. All right, moving on. So we go to the second C.
So you have chemistry, then you want to see if there is a connection.
Yes.
Right? Because that's so very, very important to determine or to decipher if there is a connection.
And the right connection.
And the connection is not something that you can conjure up. It's not something that you can make happen. Either it is or it is not.
Is that definite?
Oh, connection
is
absolutely.
It's like this chemistry thing. Either you got it or you haven't got it. So now we've got connection. So these are things I hope anybody who's listening to this will understand. There's more than just falling in love.
So in my course, though, I teach how to ask the pertinent questions to get the answers that you want to see. Because one of the things that we have to learn how to do is we have to learn how to be intentional. So therefore, I teach people to have this understanding of what are my deal breakers, what are my deal makers, and what are my absolute non-negotiables.
And if you like this person that much, you do not want to go to any of those.
You want to find out if it's a fit for you.
Yes, first.
If it's not a fit, then there goes back to that time being the biggest commodity that we have. Then that's not something you want to continue to pursue.
You know, I hate to say, but when I fell in love, I didn't go through any of these things. Well, maybe I did subconsciously. Maybe I did, but it was kind of something that just evolved and it went, and unfortunately he passed away when I was still in love with. I think I'm still in love with him, actually. It's a long time, but anyway, we didn't go through all that.
If it was what you saying it, if it was what you're saying it was, I'm sure the love will never disappear.
Never
It'll
disappear.
always be there.
Because I always think of all the good times and the great times. Okay, now I understand that you do more than just do this. You are also doing something. This is incredible because I was there when he just got this sort of assignment for Mary Kay. Now we know Mary Kay is like a household name for everybody out there, men and women. So I'm not going to just leave, is whoever, whatever. The household name. It's like Tupperware. I probably shouldn't compare it with Tupperware, but that just came into my head. I'm sorry about that. Anyway,
we get it. We get the
you get it. And so now you're with them.
So
what do you do now?
Yeah,
what happened?
I was doing I did a seminar, and one of the persons in the audience was a high up in Mary Kay. So after the seminar that I did, and the seminar that I did was a Zoom seminar.
Fabulous.
So she contacted me and asked me would I be interested in working with a lot of the women from Mary Kay that are single, and going through some of the points that I touched on in the seminar. So I did a regional, a Zoom regional, then I did a second Zoom regional. So now they're going to bring me in to be one of their speakers on their national to speak to, because Mary Kay is women. So I guess they liked what I was saying, I guess they liked what I stood for, what I represented.
Well, this is all what you work for. This is all what we work for, and we build up, we really kind of start from nothing, and we all build up, to get where we need to get, and then we get that call of somebody recognizing you in the audience and seeing you in the audience, and it's just absolutely amazing. You also have some CDs. You now have a whole course.
It's the Dating and Creating.
Dating and creating. So that is now into the CD course.
So I have it in an audio format, and then I also have it in a video format. So you can get the audio, 5 stages of dating, or you can get the videos, 5 stages of dating. If you buy the video, you get the audio plus the video plus a bonus. So that just takes you through each stage.
Each stage of it.
Of dating.
And how long a course is it?
They're 15 minutes per.
15 minutes per.
Each section is 15 minutes.
So they're not going to sit there and get bored, and
Not at all.
we watch these tapes, and after a while we either fall asleep. Hate to say that, but if they're short enough, I think they become interesting enough.
Yeah, I think that a person, once they watch one, they want to go to the second one, and they want to go to, they won't want to turn them off, because one of the things that we have this misconception on, dating and relationships can either make you or break you. But the challenge is figuring out how do you align yourself with someone that resonates with your spirit. That's the challenge. And so
I like when you say spirit, because people don't really use that much.
Well, we're spiritual beings, which we create energy. And so when you can connect with the right person, you bring two energies together, what you create is a synergy. And when you create a synergy, what you're actually reflecting is two people who are uniquely in sync.
Yes, and that's one of the greatest. That's the marriage I had. I was uniquely in sync with my other half. It was absolutely amazing. Well, it's been absolutely incredible with Regi Rodgers, and having him back again. I just love what he's doing. I'm watching you progress. I'm watching you you've got all your tapes together now, and he's with Mary Kay, and more things are going to be happening. Next thing I know, you're going to have your own television show. If you don't have it.
We've been there.
Been there and done that. You've done that.
Yes. I have a show right now. It's a podcast. It's a great podcast that I have with actor and comedian Buddy Lewis.
Yeah.
Most people know Buddy Lewis.
Yeah.
So we have a show called The Coach and the Comedian.
The Coach and the Comedian. And how they jive together.
Because you get the serious and the funny, and we talk about relationships. He gives you the comedic side.
Yeah.
I give you the serious side,
Yes.
and we blend it all together. And so what we do is we take different scenarios from actors and actresses in Hollywood, people who are going through either divorces, breakups, and then we talk about it. And then he actually asks me to analyze why at the end of the show. And so it's a great show.
How can anybody reach you, Regi?
Go to cregirogers.com. That's CREGI Rodgers RODGERS.com.
Great interview as usual. Absolutely love this guy, amazing. Got a few hints out there, so maybe you never know what might happen. I'm going to come to you and say, Regi, what am I doing wrong? Oh, Regi, what am I doing right?
Yours is always free. I wouldn't even charge you.
You wouldn't even charge me?
Free.
Oh. Woo! I'll take you up on that. Maybe I don't. Anyway, we're going to be right back with Ninon, with our next guest. Take care. Now, I have another guest. His name is Thompson, and I met him some weeks ago. I know zero of what he does. So I just asked him, and he said, no. He says, we're going to wait. And I said, okay. Hi, Dee. Well, we're here waiting. Here we are. And now I'm going to interview him. So now I'm going to find out what you do. I know one thing he does do. I know you're a writer because you have a book here.
Yes, I do.
So you've got, it's called, what's this? How I Went to the Oscars Without a Ticket.
True story. True story.
Well, I went to the Oscars without a ticket.
Did you?
But yes, I did. But I was with Hal Roach.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
okay. Hal
that
Roach.
was when Crystal was. I think his name was Crystal. Was he was the MC for that particular time. A few funny jokes about Hal Roach, but we'll get that to later. So how are you, Dee?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for inviting me.
You're looking amazing.
You look gorgeous. Look at you.
Still got it. Anyway, back to
gorgeous.
seriousness. So you're right, but you are actually very big in the movie industry in Los Angeles, and you spend most of your time in Los Angeles.
Yes, I
So
do.
what exactly do you do?
Well, I've been in, probably appeared in over 100 movies and television shows.
Oh my goodness.
But some with speaking lines, some
Congratulations.
without speaking lines. Some starring, some co-starring.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes. But
So-
I started acting many years ago. Got my Screen Actors Guild card in 1996. Moved
Wow.
out to Los Angeles, you know, as an actor with the black and white
From where?
headshot.
Where
From North Carolina.
North Carolina.
I was raised in the South.
Okay.
My mother was an evangelist minister.
Oh my.
and she
so
raised
you got to
8
behave
kids.
yourself.
Absolutely.
Wait a second. 8 kids.
Absolutely, preacher's kid, as they say, PK. And 8 kids. I'm number 7 of 8. And my mother, you know, we couldn't sneak out of the house, you know. So
Well,
talk
no, I
about
should
sneaking
imagine
into
all
the
the kids
Oscars.
kept an eye on each other anyway. If you
Yes.
sneak out, I'm sneaking out with you.
Right. So, hey, but you know, by the time it came around to my age, at number 7, everybody had it figured out. So.
So you
know,
had it figured out for you. So
Everybody had the authority to whip my butt. In retrospect.
but you weren't even the last one.
No, I
There was
wasn't.
still one more.
It was still one more.
Boy or
yes.
girl?
A boy.
A boy.
4 boys and 4 girls.
Oh my goodness, even.
Yes, big family.
Yeah.
But-
So you managed, you escaped.
Well, I went to the Navy. I left
Oh.
the South, left, you know, my southern roots, and went to the Navy,
Yeah.
served my country, and retired from the Navy, and traveled all over the world. And speaking of Italy, I lived in Italy.
So
I
you must love Italian food. So
Yes,
you're going to
yes,
love
yes,
my
yes.
mother's house.
Yes. It's a museum. It's really a
It
museum.
is a museum.
This is
here,
beautiful,
really. Isn't
you know.
it beautiful? You've
So
never
I can
been here before.
never been here before, so I'm looking forward to coming and eating
Oh,
here.
I bet you.
and
You
enjoying
told
the
me
food.
something about you're coming on the 17th. So if anybody wants to meet Dee, he's going to be here on the 17th.
The 17th.
17th of December.
I'm
Leonetti
excited.
is the owner. You know, he built this whole place up, I think I'm quoting right, I think he said 5 years.
Yes.
That he built this whole thing up, and it's absolutely...
It's amazing.
Yeah, this is like one of the old sort of nightclubs.
This
they
is
used
hollow
to
ground.
have.
I mean, when I walked in here, I feel the energy. I'm like, oh my God.
You know,
Frank
you're the second
Sinatra.
person. I was here
Yeah.
Saturday night, and I was talking to a gentleman here. I think he's something to do with the university here. Incredible man in the music business. And he said to me, he said, this place has such an energy to it.
It does.
He said, I don't know what it is. He said,
does.
but it's got this incredible energy. So, Michael,
It does. I
wherever you
felt-
are, I don't see you. You're somewhere. I know you're somewhere. So, go back to you. No, anyway. So, I also know that you. The one thing I do know about you do a lot of stand-ins for a lot of famous movie actors. Now, who are all these?
Well, being an actor, getting into the business, you know, you always want to learn. So
From the best.
I would from the best, and I would take a job, extra, background, stand-in,
Anything
whatever.
you could.
And as long as I'm on the set, because I really feel great when I'm working.
Yes.
You know, and I like to work as much as possible. And when I work, I learn from each position.
Yes.
So I try and learn everybody's job. You know, the lighting guy, the sound guy, the camera.
And they all play an important part.
Absolutely, to come together.
And
as
then
a
you know where to stand, and you know
Right,
where you're
right,
going to be heard,
right.
and you can move a little bit.
And I've stood in for Michael Clark Duncan. You know, he was like a brother to me. Magic Johnson. Bernie
Or I can see
Mac.
Magic because you're so tall.
Yes, yes. Bernie Mac. You name it. Who else? I even stood in for Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
That's the British guy,
the
isn't
British
it?
guy.
British guy.
I knew you would like that one.
course
Okay,
I
did you
like
stand
that
there for
one.
Michael Caine today? You know, in the rehearsal. So I'm walking
amazing.
around with a shirt that says Michael Caine
Michael
on
Caine
front.
on it. Yeah.
So you know, and I do the
So
rehearsals.
each one of these that you kind of stood in for, you also played a part with your back or the side of you, or with a. And you said sometimes that
Yes.
you were recognized through your walking, that you would walk the same way as they
Right,
would
right.
walk.
Like Forrest Whitaker. We did a movie called
Forrest
Body
Whitaker,
Count,
yeah.
and I was Forrest Whitaker's stand-in. And the movie was about these guys robbing a bank. It was Forrest Whitaker, John Leguizamo, oh my God, David Caruso,
Wow.
and Forrest Whitaker. And they had on these masks, which was Casper the Ghost, the bad ghost.
Okay.
And they were going and they put these masks on and they go in and rob this museum. And I was Forrest
Cool.
Whitaker. So under the mask, you didn't know if it was me, if you didn't know
Oh,
if it
him
was
or who? You
Forrest.
don't know who it is.
So they were doing the scene with me, and as I'm doing the scene, the cinematographer, he says, "Hey, you got Forrest down pat, man. Have you ever worked with Forrest before?" I said, "No, I've never worked with him before." He says, "But you got his demeanor, you got his walk and everything." So I study, you know, and use that. And,
So, but you use that for your own roles and
For my
your
own roles,
stuff.
absolutely,
Now, has that
absolutely, yes.
increased to the roles you're getting, like the bigger roles you're getting now, and like, you know,
well,
like
as,
have you co-host or anything?
well, I would star in
Star.
Major League. I was in Major League 3. I was the head umpire in Major League. You know,
Oh,
the biggest scene in the
see,
movie.
we're
You know, strike
learning
3,
what's
yeah!
going on.
You know.
How did you do it again?
You know, and the first two was who was the first two? Oh my God, I can't think of the guy's name now. But it was Wesley Snipes was in 1 and 2.
So you've been the big.
Well, I've been very blessed, but I started here, you know, and
So
as
you-
I
you
went on,
worked it. And do
I
you
really,
find that most actors, I see this a lot, that most actors seem to think that they might have the figure or the looks and everything else, and they
Yeah.
don't have to do anything, they just have to walk on set and they're going to be chosen.
Oh no, it doesn't work like that. No.
Is that
no.
because there's too many of them out
Well,
there?
I mean, if your heart is in it, if you love what you do, then those roles will come. But you've got to put the work in.
Yeah.
You've got to put the work in. And I've always worked. I've been working since I was 9 years old. You know, I started the paper route. I'm old school.
And
Yeah.
you're right, because I remember a famous actor said to my husband, he said, I have a job just like you. My husband was in real estate. And he said, he has a job just like you, except I act and you do real estate. He said, we both have a job.
Yes.
So he counted it as a job, which is what you're counting it as. This is something you want to do, but it's something you like to do, which is, little.
But they pay me for it.
Well, you've got to get paid to live.
Right, absolutely.
I stood in one time in Miami. The movie was called The Grove, and I stood in actually for Rita Hayworth.
Oh wow.
And I didn't. I'm very, very young at that.
The Academy Award-winning Rita Hayworth, by the way.
Yes. Academy Award-winning. And I stood, and the nicest Stephen Oliver and Rita Hayworth and Bill Griffey was the producer, and Fred Singer was the director, and all different people. And I believe this was the last movie she did, and I'm not quite sure if it came out. It was called The Grove, and I'm not quite sure if it came out or not. I don't know. I think they may have changed the name, but so I had my little bit.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I love what you do. So what have you got in mind now? What's coming up for you now?
Well, I would like to produce a show in Las Vegas. And
Okay.
after writing the book, and I sing also, I did
Okay.
a song during the pandemic to show my honor towards the COVID patients and people that are the frontline heroes.
Okay.
And being a creative person, being
Can you
quarantined.
acapella? Can you do acapella?
Now that's another character that I portray.
Well, I
the big
don't
country
mind
cowboy.
what it is.
The Big Country Cowboy.
Just
and
a
the
couple
song,
of lines.
it goes like this. It's a country western song.
Okay.
Roll on, river, roll on through. Gonna let the river roll right over you. Now roll on.
Oh,
Ooh, just roll on, just roll.
I love it.
Ooh.
See, now I asked you that purposely. I'll tell you why. Because you could be anywhere and somebody could turn around and say, can you sing? Can you have a cappella? Can you do
Well,
this?
absolutely.
And also acting, like people ask these things on the spot now.
Yes,
On the
yes.
spot, they ask you these to actually do it. And you sort of, mostly when people ask you to do something, you all tighten up,
The big thing is, can you cry on cue? If I don't get paid, absolutely. If they're not going to pay me, I'll cry. That means I don't eat.
You're funny. You're a bit of a comedian as well, aren't you?
Hey, I was Bernie Mac stand-in. I was Bernie Mac stand-in, and my mother was a comedian. She had me.
That was a joke in itself.
Absolutely.
Oh, forget I said that. Oh my God, did I really?
We're going to go there.
Did I really say that?
You open up a can of worms. No, it's all good. My mother was very comical, and she
Now
always
you
played
keep
practical
saying
jokes.
was, which means
Well,
that
she's
she
passed on. She's in heaven,
She's
Yes,
she's looking
she's up
over
in heaven.
us.
Yes,
and
yes.
She said,
She's
Ninon,
got
behave
me.
yourself.
Yes, right there. Yeah, I feel that.
Now this book, what made you write the book? Did you want people to find out what's going on or what you felt? Or?
Well, I'm a spiritual person. I have a relationship with God. Always have, and that's the way I live my life. And, he said, you know what? If you write this book and let people know about you, then I will make it successful. So I did it. Never wrote a book before in my life. And I branded
I
it.
wrote one book and that was it. But I wonder, when did you write this book?
This book was, it came out 2009. So it's been a while now.
Yeah, but it's still quite up there.
Yeah, it's out there. It's in Amazon. It's in Walmart. And we're looking to get it in Costco.
Okay.
And
So that's one of your challenges. The second challenge is to get the lead in a film. So if you wanted to get the lead in a film, what sort of film would you like, and what sort of, not what sort of lead you'd like, what sort of film would you like?
Well, I'm a very emotional person. That's why I like film versus, there's different styles of acting. I had an acting school, Major League Acting Academy in Reseda, California.
Really?
So, what really is good for me, the type style of acting is film, because it's so close, it's intimate. You don't have to speak really loud like stage.
No.
Because I went to school for theater after I decided.
But you
I
have
wanted
to.
become an
They
actor.
say you have to do theatre to get into film.
Well, you really don't. I mean,
People say that.
when I spoke with Steven Spielberg, I met him years ago on a television show with Charlie Haid called, what was the name of the show? Man, I'm having a senior moment here.
He's not a senior, it's just one of the...
I'm having an AARP moment.
Yeah.
But anyway, as a film actor, the camera's up close,
Yes.
and you don't have to speak real loud.
No.
You don't have to be real forceful, and
But
all
you
of
just
that.
really have to remember your lines, and the reason you have to remember your lines is because you've got an actor in front of you,
Right.
and he's going by your lines. So if you're off cue or you're not saying the right lines,
Right.
unless it's one of those films where they do quite a lot lately, where
Right.
they just for a small part you can just use your own lines and you can just follow each other. This is the plot we want you to play.
Well, that's called improvisation.
Yes,
you can just
improvisation.
run the scene and do an improvisational
Because a lot
scene.
of people do, but in film they do that now as well.
Right.
So
And then see, now it's different. When I first started, it was 35 millimeter,
what
camera,
is it now?
which was very expensive. Now it's digital.
Well, it's all digital.
Everything's digital. You could do as many takes as you want
Yeah.
and not be expensive when
That's
it comes
right.
to the production. But back then, 35 millimeter,
Yeah. Roll it. Better be right.
Right, absolutely.
10 takes.
Right. Get it right the first time.
So you've got the book, and you said you want to start doing something else. You want to.
Well, I'd like to have people come and do an Oscar experience, because people don't get a chance to go to the Oscars.
Okay.
If you're at the Oscars, either you were invited as an actor, you're nominated, or you're an invited guest. It's like you can't buy a ticket to go to the Oscars.
No, you can't. I realize
so
that.
it's a lifetime dream. The Oscars,
Yes.
and now I work for the Oscars. I do stand-in
Oh,
for the Oscars.
I now have an in.
So, in an interview once I did with a radio announcer, he says, "You know what? It's your destiny. It's your journey. It's what God has for you."
Put you where
Right.
you put you.
Put me where I'm at.
Yes.
And now I work for the Oscars. I do all the rehearsals. I get to do an improvisational speech, receive the Oscar, and then as it gets closer to the day of the Oscars, the actual A-listers come in.
Wow.
And so I get a chance
You get a chance to meet all
work
the A-listers
Tom Cruise,
and to work with them all.
Tom Cruise.
Are they? A lot of people say that they're so nice and they're very natural.
Yes.
Are they? They say
well,
that.
some are. I mean, they're people. they're people, and you know, and I've been, you know, I was raised to treat people the way I want to be treated, you know, and they're very nice
So
people.
you treat the way you...
Absolutely, and I haven't had any bad experiences.
Now, how much experience and how much is there put into the Oscars? It seems like, you know, this is, it lasts just a few hours, and then there's all the parties, and they tear everything apart, and everything's, you know, but the actual Oscars is sort of, they've got all these different times coming in, and very, very organized.
It's a production that starts a month way in advance.
Yeah.
So we're rehearsing for like 2 weeks before the show, and it's a
pressure.
It's written out, yes,
and then you have to have it all right, because otherwise the actors are going to get absolutely.
And the envelopes are closed during the rehearsal. So during the rehearsal, the envelopes
that's
are
nice
sealed.
to know. So everything, nobody knows anything until they're actually opened at the time.
Even during the rehearsal.
That is nice to know, that we all know now that they are absolutely sealed from your lips, and you would know.
PricewaterhouseCoopers, who is the accounting firm.
Yes.
That brings in. They come in with a handcuff briefcase when they come on the red carpet.
Oh, really?
During the actual show. So they become part of the show.
But we never see them.
You never see them, but they've got a briefcase handcuffed to their hand, and
cool.
they've got the envelopes inside of the briefcase.
What? You could make a movie like that. You could write a movie about the Oscars on the handcuff. Can you imagine?
That would be exciting.
Wouldn't that be exciting? And then all of a sudden, the briefcase, I'm letting the story out, but the briefcase would open, and all these Oscars flying all over the place.
All the envelopes.
All the envelopes over there. I don't know, I'm losing myself. Anyway, how can anybody reach you? Oh no, first before that, what's you got coming up? Anything big coming up?
Well, I promote the book. I go around and I promote the book, do a reading, you know, of the book, and bring that information to the secondary markets, you know. And I've got my car, I got a wrap on my car.
Okay.
And I go into Barnes and Nobles and go into these coffee houses and sell the book.
So you promote it all yourself?
And the Oscars say, you know, you promote us more than we do. Because it's every day for me.
Yeah, every day, all year.
All year, absolutely. You know, and for them it's only in February.
Wonderful.
And then, you know, I'm singing also. You know.
Singing and you live in Vegas and you live in Los Angeles.
I travel around.
Travel around.
Yeah, living out of a suitcase right now.
That could be fun, no responsibility.
Well, I do have responsibility.
I can't get up and go because I got a house.
7 grandkids.
7 grandkids.
4 grown kids, 4 kids through college.
4 grandkids. So you got
7 grandkids.
All kids through college.
Yes.
You must have done very well.
Well, that's why I got to keep working.
Yeah, but your children must have done very, very well.
I'm very proud of them.
You should, but very proud of them. But you should also be very proud of yourself. If anybody wants to reach you, how can they reach you and get hold of you and get you that leading part?
Well, they can reach me on Facebook. D. Thompson fan page on Facebook, and also D. Thompson actor on Twitter, and I'm also on Instagram, D. Thompson Oscar 69th on Instagram, on Twitter, excuse me.
Twitter.
And also.
Do we mention Twitter? I love Twitter, and I love Elon Musk. I probably shouldn't say any of this, but I'm going to just say my feelings because that's how I am. I love them both. I love Twitter and.
Well, I'm a big Facebook fan. I'm into Facebook, and I respond to people. People say, "Oh my God, he responded to me. He responded to me," and they're so excited. You know, even when I go around on the tour, people are like, "I didn't know I was going to meet an actor today."
There you go.
So I bring that. You know.
Absolutely. Well, we've had a very famous actor here, D. Thompson. Absolutely amazing, and we're going to have the next guest come along. But you know where I am, don't you? I'm at my mother's house with Michael Leonetti. Absolutely amazing. He actually sings here at his restaurant every Friday and Saturday. He starts about 6 o'clock, 6:15, around that time. And it's a one-seating dinner, by the way. And he just told me, oh my goodness, he just told me he had a party here. I think it was 60 people. He did all the cooking himself, and he actually sent me a photograph of I think it was 3 or 4 trays of fish that he'd cooked. Absolutely. He does all the cooking himself. Amazing. Anyway, we'll be right back with our next guest. Take care. I have another fabulous guest, John Caminero. Absolutely amazing. I don't really know too much about him because, as you know, I do not pre-interview my guests because I don't like to. I just like it to come, as I say, off the cuff. So, John, how are you?
Pretty good. Thank you for having me in the show.
Absolutely. And of course, you have the studios called VU. They have the studios called VU.
VU Studios.
VU Studios.
That's correct.
I like the name VU because you can't really forget it. It's not one of these complicated names. VOO, right?
VU.
Oh, VU.
That is correct. Pronounced
is
VU,
VU?
but it's spelled V
VU.
with a Victor, like Victor, U. VU Studios.
VU Studios. How cool is that? That's even better.
That is correct.
How'd you come up with that name?
Well, it was kind of, our partners are from Florida, so they kind of like stuck with the name View, but nobody wanted to because of the View, the other show.
Yeah.
So they said, well, let's just call it
VU.
VU.
I think it's amazing. It's easy to remember, except I spelled it wrong, but that's okay. I'm entitled. John, how you doing? Now you're obviously in the business.
Correct.
And what sort of business are you in? You do filming. You do what is exactly you do?
VU Studios is actually a full film production facility.
Wow.
So we've actually filmed Nicolas Cage movie recently.
I want to get him on my show. Nicholas, we've got to get you on the show.
Amazing person.
Yeah, that's what they all say. They say these are down-to-earth, great guy.
Correct. And the concept behind the studio was, we opened pre-COVID. Because of COVID, a lot of people couldn't travel, do things, do films. So we came up with the concept of, hey, let's
get it organized,
organize it, get a production studio,
and have it all ready for when we reopen.
That is correct.
So you didn't waste any time.
That is correct.
You didn't lose any money. You didn't waste any time. You just used your energy and your ability of what you wanted to do in a good way.
Correct.
So many people didn't do that. They moaned and groaned. Actually, the COVID-19 did not affect me at all. Didn't affect me at all. I still went out occasionally. I was very careful, but didn't affect me. So what is the main thing you do at your studios? Is it filming or podcasting? Because everyone's doing podcasts.
Yeah, we're actually full film, podcasts, technology, and we're in the process of actually building a music studio as well, with a motion capture studio as well. So we want to be a one-stop facility for production,
for whatever
music,
anybody
everything.
wants.
Yeah.
So this must be quite a large facility.
That is correct. It's 25,000 square feet,
now
and we're expanding.
And you're expanding. And you said your people came in from Florida.
Correct.
Why did they come to Vegas to build this? Because, I mean, I don't know how long you've been here, but I know that it's up and coming in the film industry. It's getting bigger and bigger.
Well, how the concept started, a lot of movies were being shot here in Vegas. Everybody has a scene. Everybody wants Vegas. Everybody has a music.
Got all your built-in scenes.
Correct. All the sports teams are coming here. You know, we're building a huge brand in sporting.
Yeah.
Vegas wants to be the sporting capital of the world. So
well, they're the music capital of the world.
And there we go. So by bringing that, the partners in Florida decided, well, why don't we just build a production studio there, film studio there? Everyone comes to Vegas. Let's bring everybody here to Vegas. And since everybody does residency, all the actors have either a second home or a primary home here.
A lot of people have moved here too because of the expensive houses in Los Angeles and around that area are very, very expensive. I mean, I know houses used to be, maybe $1 million and now 2 or 3 million. It's ridiculous. Not everybody can afford that. Whereas you can get the same sort of house in Vegas for less money, and it's really cool. Very cool. So what's your aim? How is it going now? Because COVID's just kind of...
We're actually very, very busy right now.
Cool.
Because of what we're doing with the casinos, with the entertainment market here in Vegas, we're expanding on technology. We're bringing a lot of technology partners to our production facilities.
And that you need.
Oh, that we need. As you know, this metaverse thing is the big thing right now.
Everybody's getting into this.
Yes, the augmented reality.
I want to do that. I want to get into that. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, so everybody's getting into this technology. We got a company called FansXR that we did a partnership with, that we're doing augmented reality, so it brings VRs to the front.
Everyone's going to be wearing these things all the time.
So when the Golden Knights play, or a certain venue, sporting venue, or entertainment, or a concert, people can log on to the VR
and that's it.
In real time.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. And through their phones as well.
A lot of people don't like the advancement of technology, a lot of people don't like change. I happen to like the advancement of technology, and I love, love, love change. Anything that can change, I happen to love it. Are you finding that's happening more now because of the technology is moving so fast and so advanced?
Access. People want access. And the thing is, what we're bringing with VU Studios is access. People want that VIP treatment, the behind the scenes.
Oh, they love that.
The actual footage.
Absolutely.
So we're bringing that, and it's amazing what's happening. Right now, Vegas is just growing at a staggering rate. People are moving
And
here,
you recognize that.
and we recognize that.
Yeah. How long have you been in Vegas?
I've been in Vegas around 15 years.
So you were long before you had your own
That is
business. And what was your own business?
Prior was real estate.
Oh, so you and I
did
have
real
something
estate,
in common. Yes. I still am a private investor. I don't have a license, nothing. I just buy stuff and sell it. I feel like it.
That was when the business was good back
That's
in
when
the
it was
day, yeah.
good. Oh no, I got hit by 2008, and then I got hit by the COVID because people didn't pay their rent, people didn't pay their stuff. So, but, you know, these things happen.
Nice.
But anyway, but you're now no longer in that, so you're now, and you obviously see the advancement. So you got your friends of yours from Florida to come in with you here and to build this whole thing up. Did you make this like a very exclusive, because it sounds like yours is very exclusive, very VIP, very, very top notch.
That is correct, and that's we tended to be that way because these artists and producers and actors wanted the VIP treatment, but they wanted behind the scenes. You know, they didn't want to go. They just wanted to come in, do their set, record, and go, and
Yes,
bounce.
yes.
So that's why we created our studios there for that reason.
And how many studios do you have?
We actually have 4. We have the
4
one here in
studios?
Vegas,
Yeah.
Orlando, Tampa, and Nashville.
Oh, hang on a second. You're everywhere.
Correct. And expanding.
Yeah. And expanding.
And expanding other
So you
markets.
might eventually have one in London.
Yeah, hey. Actually, yes.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
I mean, come on. You know, it's funny because I have another show called Off the Cuff, and it's a girl from England, and we're like these 2 older women in Vegas, and we've got this show called Off the Cuff. And somebody, Pizzazz, I think it is, in London, they just put it on their network. So I said they could put it on because it's not really, hasn't gone really anywhere. But it's a fun show. It's the two women, older women, and we just baffle each other. We just knock each other all the time. It's just, it's like, you know, one of those crazy things. And
Love it.
yeah, it's just something a little different. It's, you know, it's pretty cool. So where are you going from now? What have you got up your sleeve right now? Because you seem like you never stop.
Yeah, right now we're actually working on the tax credits behind the scenes with state officials, because as you know, everybody goes to Atlanta or they go to Canada
Yeah.
or, you know, Sofia, Bulgaria or other
Yeah.
parts. But right now our focus is bettering the tax credits. So once we get that solved, it'll be
Is that a
huge
big?
influx.
Is that a big thing to get solved?
Yes.
I never thought of taxes and entertainment on all this filming, but it is.
That is
So
correct.
they
We-
get the tax, and this is why a lot of people will go. And the only reason I know about this is because of real estate. Because if we could get a big shopping centre put in one of the cities, it was a good tax thing for them. So that's what you're looking at.
Correct.
You're looking at bringing the taxes, which they don't have much in the entertainment business in Vegas as a tax. They did have a. I think that the government, I think they gave money for the film business, and then they took it away and gave
Correct.
Elon Musk his battery thing or something because they got more taxes out of it. And why not? You're trying to
Correct.
do the same thing so that they stay in Vegas,
That is correct.
or they come to Vegas.
They come to Vegas, and also our technology, because like when Nicolas Cage filmed his movie there, he shot 40 to 50% of his movie
In
on
your
location,
studio?
on set.
Awesome.
So that's the technology we bring to the table with our screens also, that producers, film directors could come there and don't have to do off-site locations, don't have to wait for permits, don't have to do all the
Nothing. You can
crazy
do it all
stuff,
for them. It's all
logistics.
all
Correct.
taken care of.
It's all
And that's
taken
what
care of.
people don't want. They don't even know how to do it, or they don't have anybody who really wants to do it. And it's
Correct.
probably a bit of a boring job anyway, I would imagine, because not like the film.
Correct.
So now you can keep them here. I think that's absolutely amazing. Well, John, you've been amazing, and thank you so much for coming on and being a guest, and you know, learning a little bit more about Vegas and the film industry. It is getting bigger and bigger. I've noticed it since I've been here, and
That
I've
is
noticed
correct.
what they're trying to do, and you know, because they've all got so many sets already built.
Correct.
You've got all these different hotels. You can have anything. New York, you've got whatever you want.
Correct.
You know, brush it up a little bit of how you want it. But it's absolutely wonderful. If anybody wants to get hold of you, how do they get hold of you?
They could just go to VU.network, and that's V as in Victor, U.network, and all the information is on
Was
there.
on there. Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been absolutely fabulous. I have one more guest coming up, actually, and I just want to have a couple of words with him. I hope he'll come on. I think he will. His name is Michael Leonetti. He happens to own the restaurant. We'll be right back. the owner, proprietor, is Michael Leonetti, and I have him as my next guest. Michael, how are you?
Ninon, it's a pleasure. It's a blessing. And I'm so excited to be here.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Well, I wasn't expecting that intro, but I love it because that's typical his personality.
That's me.
And that's definitely you. And the reason I know it, because at his restaurant, my mother's house, he sings every Friday and Saturday,
Yes.
as well as doing all the cooking, paying all the bills. You do everything here.
Well, I do everything, but my wife has a big part of it. She has the most hardest part, which is
Yeah,
the
she
payroll, and that's another side. I got the easy part, the signing of the autographs and the singing and the standing ovations. But the key of a restaurant is really the back end of it. That's what keeps it
And
going.
she does the back end.
she's
Now
the
this is
heartbeat.
now you said restaurant. This is not really a restaurant.
No.
It's a supper club.
It's a bordello, but go ahead.
It's a bordello. Okay. To me, it's a supper club in Vegas. Okay. He loves to joke around all the time. The only thing is I've got to keep up with his jokes.
Just as long as you get my teeth, it cost me 40 grand for these. Get them choppers. Go ahead.
Get those choppers. 40,000, not $40. 40,000.
Yeah, implants, boy, they're brutal.
For his choppers. I thought we only use that word in England.
Yeah, do you really?
Yeah, I thought so. Now, you know, I was bragging about you in one of my
Thank
other interviews about how you had an event here last week, and you had 60 people.
90.
I said 60.
I know.
Oh, good Lord. 90 people.
90 people.
You actually cooked yourself for 90
Yes.
people.
Well, banquet cooking is completely different than when you go into a restaurant because
yes, because
you have
all the
to prepare-
same.
Right, there's set menus, and we have a set menu. Like this week, we have a wedding Saturday night, 85 people.
Wow.
So I give them a choice of 5 different entrees. Any kind of
And they
chicken dish,
choose-
chicken cacciatore, chicken piccata, chicken marsala,
Yes.
chicken Neapolitan, whatever chicken
Is
dish they
chicken
want.
the easiest to cook? Is it the sort
It's
of
the hardest to cook because if you don't cook it right, it will dry out. Many
Well, that's
restaurants,
true.
they grab it, they cook it, they throw it in the warmer, and when it comes to your table, it's warm.
Yes, yes, it
Well,
is warm.
Mine's is spotting hot, at least 145,
Well,
150
you're very
degrees.
particular how you serve your food, how
Yes.
your food comes out. And his food does not come out in a little bowl. It comes out in a big bowl.
Family
It's
style. We do a lot of family style.
lot
We
of
have
family
individual
style.
dishes.
Yes, but you have a lot of family style.
Right.
And you only have one seating.
Yes, we open at 4, we close at 9 o'clock. We close on Monday and Tuesday. And the nice thing about the establishment is the way Vegas was many years ago. You used to go into a place and you had the table for the night.
For the night, yes.
People today, they cannot afford to do it. It's
No,
sad for these
no.
restaurants. They get you in and they're giving you your check and say, thank you, can I get you anything else? There's the door.
Now, on top of all this, he sings.
Don't tell
No.
nobody.
Don't tell anybody? Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to whisper it because
Yes.
he doesn't want anyone to know. But he used to be very, very famous on the Strip.
When I was young and handsome and I had all my hair. I see you, pal. I can see you in TV land. You got the same barber I got. Watch it, buddy.
Hello. But you were very famous on the Strip. You have never lost that.
I've been blessed.
You've been
I've
very
been
blessed.
very blessed to be 71 years old
Wow.
and have the power. And God has given me the energy
Yeah.
to do what I do best. How long it will last, who knows?
Well, I hope a long time.
Well, me
you
too.
know.
But in the meantime, I love what I do, and I'm so happy with this little establishment. We have
It's not
entertainment
so-
5 nights a week.
It is a small establishment, but you would never think of enlarging it, would you? Because I think
No,
you would. I
no.
think you would lose the ambiance of
No,
it.
I want to tell you, well, my grandmother, God rest her soul, we all got together years ago, and we remodeled her kitchen
Yeah.
for her birthday.
Yeah.
And the old lady came in and she cried. And we thought that she cried
Of
for
love.
what we do. No, there was a magic that was gone.
Yeah.
Because we ripped this out and we put all this in, it wasn't the
Wasn't
same to her.
She
wasn't
couldn't.
the
She
same.
couldn't cook the same because we all have that. You
Yeah,
know,
it
we
wasn't
have,
the same. That's why I don't want to touch nothing here.
No,
Listen,
I love it.
It takes weeks to get in here.
Yes.
I don't want to be.
Well,
the
you
big-
have a forever waiting list. He has a forever
Yeah.
waiting list
You have
to
to
come
gotta
in
make
here.
it Friday and Saturday.
I mean,
2-3
Saturday.
weeks in
Nobody
advance.
can come in here Saturday. It's a private party for 85 people.
Right now we have outside, but what's nice about my
it wasn't
mother's
a bit cold
well,
out there.
no, we got the warmers, but it's called my
great.
mother's garden. I have a 70-inch TV screen so that people could see the show.
you do
from,
the show.
Yes, from outside.
Oh, how fabulous!
And they're
Now
warm.
you have a 4-piece band here, and they're
Best-
all fabulous.
best.
They're wonderful.
Could I mention the guys with your
Yes,
permission?
of course you can
I got
mention
my
them.
buddy Mike DeBarry, who's the pound for pound. He's got his own TV show also as well. Greatest drummer in the world. Jeff Davis on the bass guitar. He used to be a priest, gave it up, heard too many confessions.
And he met you.
Met me. He heard my confession and he quit. And then we got little Joey Farina.
Oh, little Joey on the piano.
The best. Joey's about this big. And then
I think he's taller than you.
yes, he is. And then we have the great
got away with that.
Steve Johnson. And we go back 40 years, us guys.
Wow.
So this is the last Las Vegas lounge show.
That's why I call it a lounge show.
Lounge
because
show.
this truly is a lounge
That's
show.
here.
It's just beautiful. And you don't stop. He sings for about an hour and 50 minutes, takes a little break, and then comes back.
Right.
And there's an incredible set of drums right over here. And when he plays those, I mean, it's just unbelievable, the whole thing. Absolutely incredible. But you've only had this restaurant 5 years.
5 years.
5 years. Anything you would like to mention back in your history, back in your life of, you know, when did you come to Vegas?
Well, I came to Vegas in the early 70s. I had a hit record.
What was the name of it?
You'll never know. You'll never know just how much I love you. So it was a hit. They stuck me at the Sands Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada. Never forget it. I tell this story on stage. This is part of my act. And they said, Mr. Leonetti, your dressing room's down to the left. So I opened up the door. There was the cutest little stove I ever seen. It reminded me of my grandmother. I got very depressed. I walked over. I made a long-distance phone call.
You get depressed.
Yeah, I did. So back in the 70s, when you made a long-distance call, you can hear that right now. It's the bells of St. Mary.
They just happened to play at the right time.
Right time. My grandfather answered the phone. He said, Mike, what's the problem? I said, Pop, I'm very unhappy. Now, he's in Philadelphia. I'm in Vegas, 3,000 miles. He said, you got a hit record. Be grateful. I said, I miss you and Grandma. He said, what did I teach you? When you're unhappy, eat a dish of macaroni. That's pasta for you American people out there. I sat down. I made a little marinara sauce. Oh, that's marinara, just so you know. And I just put the macaroni on the table. I hear a knock on the door. Ninon, as I opened up that door, do you know who it was?
No, who was it?
Sinatra.
Frank Sinatra?
Yep. He said to me, hey, kid, what are you doing?
What, can he smell this?
Well, yeah, I didn't realize. I'm in the dressing room, you know.
And you've got this
The smell
aroma going through the
corridors. He said, hey, kid, what are you doing? I said, I'm making a dish of macaroni. He said, what'd you say to me? I'm cooked. Come on in, sit down, have something to eat. He looked at me and said, wait a minute. He pointed his finger. And he had the most piercing blue eyes you ever seen on a guy.
Yeah.
And I happened to catch him right. I didn't call him Mr. Sinatra. I didn't call him Frank. I said, come on in, sit down, have a dish of macaroni. And he says, you're that kid with the hit record. I said, yeah, come on in, sit down. He heats. Cool. He goes, Madonna, in Italian, like, wow, like, oy vey in Jewish. He said, boy, the food's delicious. He said, where's the phone? It's in the corner. He gets up, he walks over to the phone. He said, this is Mr. Sinatra. He said, give me Dean Martin's room. He said, Dean, do me a favor. I'm down in the dressing room just for a minute. You got to meet this kid. He cooks like my mother. The rest was history. Now, behind me, you'll see some stars. I've been very blessed in all the years I've been in Vegas to cook for every major celebrity that there was.
But you worked for it. You worked for it by cooking for them. He did all this cooking.
Yes, I cooked for. Well, Frank, he opened up a lot of doors when he said, "Hey, there was a place."
Well, no. He didn't open up the doors for the cooking. He opened up the doors because of you, because you're just a great person. You're very friendly. You're a great person,
right?
And he liked you. He didn't like everybody.
No, but I got to tell you, I don't want the viewers. I didn't hang with him. I wasn't part of the Rat Pack. I just cooked.
I hung with him.
Well, I'm glad you did. But you got to remember, Frank was, because I'm 71. If Frank was alive today, he would be 110 years old.
Yeah.
He would have been up there.
Old.
So we all have an image.
I did meet him. I got to meet him.
Yeah.
I had a great conversation with him, and it's for me, it was very, very nice.
Yeah.
Very sweet.
Because we have an image of him, like Elvis and all these other people
we have
that
all
died
these.
young.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if they were.
Well, he didn't really die young.
No.
He had his full time in there, and he gave so much to so many people. And a lot of people might not say that he was the nicest person in the world, but I only know him as one of the nicest. He was nice to me, and he gave the most beautiful music to everybody. He shared his talent. A lot of people don't share. You share your talent.
I try.
You do. You share your. You get up here. Let me tell you something. He works this stage. You work it here. Believe me, you will never see. So don't forget, you've got to come to the restaurant. You're in Summerland?
Sun City, 9320 Sun City Boulevard. I'm right across from the golf course in Sun City. You know, it's a retirement community.
Yes.
You know, but I got to tell you the truth. 70% of my business is the Strip. Yeah. Caesar's Palace, MGM Grand. They come from all over. Yeah. My demographics is from 20 to 120. Well, when I first opened.
That's amazing.
It was
when you first opened.
Oh no, forget it.
You had, but this is what you built up. But you've done that all your life. You've had the
Right.
most amazing life and you also wrote a book.
Yes.
In all this, doing all this, I think you also wrote several religious books too.
No. I just did one book because I went to college for a very long time. You people on TV Land know the college that I'm talking about.
Yes.
Like 20 years. She took a sabbatical, so did I. But when I got out of this horrible place,
I don't think it was quite the same. But I did, but no, I was married. Well, hang on a second. I'm going to come back on that.
Go ahead.
I have to. I was married for 29 years, and I had the most beautiful marriage any woman could have. I even had 6 stepchildren, which we sorted out. But my marriage itself, I had the most beautiful marriage. So mine was a little opposite to yours.
yes.
But, you know, that's how things go. Some is good and some is bad, but it ends up all very good. And look where you've ended up. Look what you're doing now. Look at what you're doing right now.
Yeah, but all glory, I got to tell you, goes to the guy above. I'm telling you right now, I don't take the credit. I don't take the credit because if you got God in your heart, when I walked out that door of that prison that day, the guy said to me, he says, let me tell you something, Mike. There's 3 things a person must have for the nucleus of self-success. The content of a man's character, the integrity you hold as an individual, but most of all, the compassion you feel towards another human being. How many people do you know that have all 3? I know people have 1, 2, but to have all 3, it took me that last one. It took me to do all them years.
Took all those years
to
to get the
understand
3.
compassion for someone else, and then to come out.
It's very
I'm
important.
glad that I had an opportunity to bring my talent, cooking, music to people. And it's great
And he
because,
does
and we do it, and I'm happy.
And he does it well.
I'm happy.
He's happy. He's incredible. I'm happy because I'm filming out of here, and you are like an Ed McMahon for me.
Yes, but what I'm excited about is that this show here excites me.
Yeah, he does,
because
he
there's
loves
people
it.
that are out there, like we watch TV, it's boring stuff. You know, you give people 3 minutes, take it off, it's boring. But watching you and watching the guests that you have,
The guests are amazing.
the guests is incredible. See, these chairs, you don't know, folks out there, there's electric. And then we give them a zip, they start to zip, they'll get right up there.
It keeps them
The
going all the
producers
time.
in the back, what's the company? The company that we use, because these guys make me look
Action
young.
Shop. Action Shop Productions.
There were the guys.
Action Shop
Action
Productions.
Shop Productions.
Yeah, they are our producers, and of course Steve Sebo is my producer,
The best.
and Larry is one of my directors,
Larry's the
and
best.
you are an executive director.
Uh-oh.
This is as an executive
How
director.
exciting! I got the chills.
And I'm just her. I'm just
No,
whatever.
no, you're the
just-
best. I'm excited. Listen to me. I'm excited about it because I feel it's going to be #1. We got some great guests, especially
we have
next
great-
week coming on.
Oh yeah, next week.
We got some heavy hitters.
All right, let them know. Who have we got?
Well, I'm just going to mention one. We got Supreme Court Justice Maupin. He's a Supreme Court Justice.
Very, very well known in Las Vegas.
Michael Sapp, one of the biggest criminal attorneys in Las
I
Vegas.
better behave myself.
No,
All right.
no, these are the guys, especially if I would have known him, I never would have went away. These
Oh,
guys
man.
are-
Oh, I'm going to get to know them good.
These guys
Just
are
in
great.
case, you never know.
Never know. But it's going to be hot. I think it's going to be swinging. We got a lot of great entertainers coming in.
Absolutely.
know?
Fabulous. Absolutely.
And,
Absolutely amazing. They all want to come to the restaurant and they all want to be on the show. And the production company is absolutely amazing. On that, thank you, Michael Leonetti.
Thank you, too.
And thank you for letting us film here and to start this all out. To, try to let people know who you are and what you are is very, very difficult in this town. There's a lot of competition. And Michael opened his heart up to me and said, Ninon, I think this could work here. And I think we could all put this together and it could work. And sure enough, from your lips, and you mentioned it, God's ears.
Yeah, he's got his hand on my shoulder. You're hobnobbing with one of his angels.
I'm hobnobbing with an
something
angel.
that I wanted to ask. You have, once this gets aired, and it's going to be aired,
Yes.
tell you what I want to do.
What do you want to
The
do?
first 3 people that call you personally,
Yes. For
the
what?
wait a minute, they've seen the show, they've seen what's going
Okay.
on.
All right.
I want to give 3 $50 gift certificates for dinner at my establishment.
Okay, so the first 3 that call me, and I'm going to give the number out right
Right.
now, and it is a Los Angeles number because I love the number. It is 310-867-5959. Call that number. You can also email me, ninon@ninonspeaks.com.
Right.
You can do
So
that
that's
as
a
well.
$50 gift
So that's
certificate.
a $50 gift certificate. I'm gonna call myself.
Yeah, the director's over here eating meatball sandwiches. You people can't see him, but he's out there chewing.
Yeah, he's chewing. You want me? Well, you know, what we do here is we have a lot of fun, a lot of excitement, and we have a lot of fun together. We have a lot of charisma together.
Yes.
We shall both be back next week. I don't know what we'll be doing, but another surprise for you. Thank you for watching, and thank you for joining us on Ninon, the new show.
Goodbye.
He's waving like the Queen. Oh no, the King. Sorry, the new King.
That's right. Don't forget it.
King Charles III. We salute him. We'll be right back next week. Take care.